You and we met Jonah when we were kids, right? And about the only thing we remember is that a whale swallowed him, right? Now, biblical scholars say that Jonah might have been a real prophet in the Old Testament, but the book of Jonah is definitely a mixture of history and mystical writing. But what fascinates me about this guy, Jonah, is his very candid relationship with God. You see, God gives him a mission. Go to King Ahab of Nineveh and tell him, unless they repent for their sins, enemies will crush them. But Jonah did not want to go. Why? Well, pagan Nineveh was one of Israel's worst enemies and colonizers. Why should God want them saved? Jonah must have wondered. For all he cares, Ahab and the Ninevites can rot. An equivalent to that would be, well, if God called me, for example, to warn the Chinese in the West Philippine Sea that they should get out of there or else God will drown everyone in a huge tsunami, I would probably do a Jonah and say, well, let them drown. Or maybe when God called me to go to Malacanang to do the same thing, I'd probably think, pwedeng patayin mo na lang ako. Like Jonah said 2 times, it is better to die than to live, which is equal to, alam mo, patayin mo na lang ako, Lord, rather than go to Ahab and Nineveh. So what does the guy do? He runs away. Right on chapter 1, verse 1, the guy bolts out of the place, but only to obey God in the end. You see, Jonah's love-hate with God, I find fascinating. He quarrels with God, they argue, he runs away, God brings him back. They were like father and son, on again, off again, sorry, not sorry. But the son ends up obeying the father anyway, though not always willingly. Now, if your relationship with God was like that, I'd say you're pretty tight with God, right? You can be whoever you are with him and he with you. So what do you think? Is your relationship with God like that? In the gospel today, Jesus' friends asked him to teach them how to pray, which was very odd. Jews already knew their prayers. From childhood, they memorized them all. Prayer upon waking up, prayer while washing their faces, while washing hands before meals, before and after eating, upon leaving home, upon getting back home, before even entering the door, there was a prayer. And those were just the house prayers. So teach us to pray, but Jesus indulges them. Okay, here's what I say. And they end up with a pitifully short prayer. See, my sisters and brothers, the original kernel of the Aramaic Our Father, it was very short. Father, may your name be holy. Give us our daily bread. Forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not to the test. That was it. Praise, petition, forgiveness in a nutshell. So his friends must have expected a long and convoluted and repetitive formula like they were used to, like you and I are used to. Their master spends entire nights of prayer, pagkatapos yun lang ang dinadasal niya, kakapraso. What did he say the rest of the time? And that was the thing. When they asked Jesus to teach them to pray, they expected a what? When Jesus was really teaching them more of the how. Not so much what to say, but how to pray. With such few words, how did Jesus do the rest of his prayer then? Well, I bet he and his Abba were like Jonah and God. They must have also argued and quarreled and begged and bargained with each other. Jesus must have asked many times, why? And Abba must have answered, why not? Jesus must have said, I don't want to. And Abba must have said, "But I do." Jesus must have said, "I'm going to get in trouble for this." And Abba must have answered, "I will be with you. You will see." There is no better how in prayer, my dear sisters and brothers, than an intimate conversation between father and child. And there's no better father than one who does not take it against you to be very candid with him, to be yourself. So see, it is not so much what the Lord's Prayer was, but how he prayed to the Father as himself in complete trust and confidence in the Father. When people use the word tatay on our guy in Malacanang, I cringe. Many comments on YouTube go, "Yan ang tatay. Go Tatay Digong." And they say that when he curses and swears, berates his critics, threatens to kill, when he flirts publicly, and stinks up a speech with toilet humor. Yan ang tatay. Go Tatay Digong. Lodi tatay. And I don't buy it. Why? Because I've heard it too many times in confessions and counseling. It is precisely these behaviors that Filipinos hate most about their fathers. When their fathers curse, berate, threaten, flirt, crack dirty jokes in public, be an embarrassment to his family. Those are precisely what make many Filipinos wish that they had different fathers, and even wish their fathers dead for some, really. Pero kapag ginawa ng mama sa Malacanang, yan ang tatay. Bakit? So I don't buy it. The mama divides not just the whole nation, do you notice? He actually tears people apart from inside, making them love exactly what they really hate about their fathers. Tatay is so bad, he's good. Now, if you ask me, that's not just hypocritical. To make you love the evil that you've always hated and make it look good, that's demonic. That's what the devil does. To make you love evil that he makes appear good. People presume that I am a Duterte because I'm from Davao. And because I'm an Aquino, Dutertards presume that I'm a Dilawan. But I'm neither. I hate politics and politicking in both civil society and in the church. But you know, sisters and brothers, I have never wrestled with God more than I did about the mama in Malacanang. Full disclosure, I've had to go to confession many times over what I actually asked God to do to him. Full disclosure. But thankfully, no matter how angry I am in prayer, the final message from God is always this: mas makapangyarihan pa rin ang Ama sa langit kaysa sino mang tatay-tatayang dinudyos natin sa mundo. In fact, we can say, wala yan sa tatay ko. Our Father's power is infinite and invincible. Our Father's power ends human power. No tatay on earth has the last word on anything. Only God, our Father, he will always have the last word on earth as in heaven. And that is good news.